Welcome to the Sketch Zone podcast.
Jack Casper's out. Hello, my friend.
Hey, I'm Jack. I'm back. I'm the intro stealer. I'm the punches dealer because Tyrus ain't here.
I usually get job leads too, but it usually has something to do with a weed whacker or some dishes.
I diagnosed in Microsoft Excel.
Did she say she does up?
Yeah, she said Excel. She just said that.
We were busting on Photoshop Pro last week in Windsor, so we got Excel. We got Excel as the actual market. So we got explain this.
What other kind of software do you use? Quicken.
Charlie said Quicken. The funniest thing you ever said. I'm literally asking you a question. You know what, Charlie? You know what it is? You know what it is? You're emotional. That's what it is. You're emotional. You can't hear me talk because you're emotional. You can't hear me. I'll let you be wrong. I don't mind. I'm nice like that. I'm nice like that, Charlie.
Okay.
You all right? You
I
get a
just
little
think
emotional.
we should bring it in. I can't stand anyone on this podcast. And we're back. Hello. Hi, everyone. This is the Sketch Zone podcast, and I am Carlos Gomez, your friendly neighborhood brown kid. With us this week, we have a 3D animator from the box office smash Ant-Man, and a animation mentor graduate, Jordan Miller.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Jordan is in the house.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And with us, as always, we have Charlie B. Williams III.
Hello, Podcast Land. It is another week. Your resident Pinterest advisor is back.
Senor Pinteresto. And back after a long, hard-working hiatus.
After drowning and seeing the light of the tunnel and having a near-death experience.
Jack Kasperzak.
Welcome back to the cold-ass honky. The important thing, Jack, is you've made it. And all those other ones that did not make it out, you now have to live your life to the fullest.
I have to accept that that was my past, and now we will move on.
But don't forget.
Don't forget the past. The past.
But he is back. He is back.
The Jack is
The
back.
man behind the mask. Hey, everyone! Happy October.
Yeah!
Yeah.
You know what happens
means?
You know what happens in October?
I do. Two things.
Couple things.
Halloween.
Well, three things.
Couple of amazing things.
What happens in October?
We don't forget the past, and we talk about our previous guest, Jake Parker. We have hashtag Inktober.
Ooh.
Hashtag Inktober happens. Hey, Jordan. Here, let's put Jordan on the spot. Jordan, what happens during Inktober?
I don't know anything about October.
Well, let Carlos educate you.
Well. All right, so a friend of the podcast, Jake Parker, started a few years ago. Started Inktober, and during October, each day of October, you have an assignment. You create a drawing. You should try to keep it like a black and white ink type of thing, but I think it's okay if you just make a drawing and post it, and then
He just wants to get folks drawing.
He just wants to get folks drawing, exactly.
Digital ink's even good too.
So you make a piece of artwork and then you put it on social media and you use hashtag Inktober, and then you go onto social media and you search for Inktober and you take a look at what everyone is doing.
There's some good stuff out there.
Crazy.
And then some not so good stuff out there.
Well, but that's with every.
But at the end of October, everyone is going to be phenomenal.
Yes, every one of them.
That's actually. I should get on that. I really should get on that.
Get on.
It's 9:30. You have a few hours, so go ahead and get on that.
Yeah, you still
I got plenty of time.
You have to do one every day.
He said
every day.
Plenty of time. He's like, stick it. Could you imagine? Imagine starting. You start Inktober. Day number one, you have like a stick figure, and then by the end of it, you just have this big, elaborate, wonderful,
Yeah.
and people are like, "It works! Inktober works!"
It's like remember in school when you had life drawing and you had to draw yourself on the first day and then again on the last day.
They made
I
you
think-
use pins. Remember? They made you use pins for the
Yeah.
for the first class in our school. Yeah.
Huh.
It's horrible.
Yeah. So Inktober, Jack, did you submit today?
I am working on it. I have, like you said, I got 3 hours.
Pushing it to the limit already.
I'm not gonna miss it. I did it last year. I sort of did it the year before. So
I watched the year before, and last year too.
Did Inktober inspire your current booking or no? Or you just always want to do black and white for that?
no, I've kind of black and white has kind of been my thing for many years now. So it happens to work out pretty well. But
Yeah.
it does inspire me to keep at it every day and
Yeah.
kind of have a responsibility to your followers that start to get into it. You definitely, like, if you're big into social media, you'll definitely notice you gather little followers that are like, ooh, I keep checking in, and you get all the likes and all that garbage. But that's not really what it's about. But that helps to make you feel like, oh, people are seeing this, and I got to keep up with it. I can't let them down.
I'm actually using it as an excuse. There's a friend of mine that owns he's the local cobbler, and so we're going in together on this project.
Why does that sound like the beginning of a joke?
Yeah, it does.
Because it's going to be hilarious.
Because it is a joke.
He has all of these interactions with all his customers and stuff, and things that, like, if you check on his Facebook page, all of these stories are hilarious. And I went in one day and I said, you know what, those crack me up. We should maybe do a comic strip. And he said, you know what's funny is people have always told me that I need to have my own reality show. So maybe we can work together, and we made a deal, 50-50. He's going to write all the jokes. I'm going to draw them out. But I want them to be, more traditional comic strip, ink and pencils and all that stuff. So, so I'm going to do that. Use his stories to develop the comic, but then I want to use Inktober this year as kind of the reason behind. Or I'm going to use his stories to fuel my Inktober.
Right.
So today I designed the logo for the comic strip. It's called Saving Souls, SOLES. And yeah, it's going to be about Vinny the Cobbler and his interaction with people at large. So it should be fun. It should be fun.
Nice.
But enough about me. Hey, Jordan.
What's up?
So you got a BFA in animation from Ball State?
Oh.
I didn't know we had a state called Ball. Is that the 51st state I don't know about?
No, that's
Yeah,
Puerto Rico.
don't ask us what
That's
our
Puerto
mascots
Rico.
are.
Oh, nice.
Ball State testicles.
Ah,
I had to say it.
No, but there is a minor league team up in up by you, Carlos. That's called the Nuts, and the headlines in the Sacramento Bureau are hilarious. It's like, the Nuts are slumping behind.
uh,
All right, so Ball State.
Wait a minute, Jordan, are you from Indiana?
yes, I'm from Indiana. I'm from Goshen, Indiana. I grew up on the countryside.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm from Fort Wayne.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't know they had any black folks over there, did you?
Ah.
Uh,
I know where Goshen is. Yeah.
yeah, northern
So you're
Indiana.
So you're from Indiana,
Yep.
and you. What made you get into animation, or what made you want to get an animation degree?
Well, since I was a zygote, I always loved animation. So, yes, before I was even born, I always loved. I mean, no, I'm just. But
There's an
I don't
article
know. It
I'd
was
like
just.
you to read. It's about. No, kidding.
No. Keep going, George. Don't listen to him.
So you were a zygote.
But in all serious. Yeah. But in all seriousness, I always loved like animation when I was a kid. I was into like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and everything. But what really started it was when I was in elementary school. There was this Scholastic book program that was touring around, and they sell books and everything. So and I found a book called like how to do animation, and it wasn't really like a Richard Williams survival handbook on it, but it was more about like the process of animation, like how do drawings get on the frame and everything. And I was just like, oh, that's all cool. I want to do something like that. And I would get my camcorder and try to draw flip books and everything. And yeah, that was how I got into it. And then I saw like James and the Giant Peach, which is stop motion movie, and I was like, no, I want to do that. I want to do stop motion. And I didn't have like any maquettes, but I did have Legos, so I was using my camcorder again and just trying to do all these animations. And I know we're all crap, but hey, I mean, I loved it. But then when I started getting to middle school and high school, that kind of died down a bit because I was told like, well, you have to get a real job. I mean, because I was told like, well, animation's not a real job. You got to think realistically. And I was like, ah, man. Well, I could be a programmer. I could be a police officer. I know. Or
no, you don't. Don't do that.
I know. And somehow I got into my head that, hey, maybe I should join the armed forces. I wasn't really that into it. I just thought it was just like
crazy statement. I wasn't that
yeah,
into
I
it,
just
but maybe
yeah,
we'll
no,
go
I
anyway.
was just but I was just like, well, I see the commercials, they're on computers, so hey, maybe I should just be on that or something like that. But then high school came around, and in my freshman year, of course, there was the recruiting.
Of course it was. It's Indiana.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's all you had. You either had football or
basketball. You go to yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But anyways, I just like, I guess I'll sign up, and then they started calling endlessly, just at my house, like, when are you gonna sign up? I'm like, ask me 3 years, I'll make up my decision. And my mom found out, and she freaked out. She's just like, you are never, ever joining the armed forces. You will I will kill you before you even do that. And it just...
She's like, so about that animation.
Yeah, exactly. And, 16th birthday. Yeah, that 16th birthday, she was like, well, he loved animation. Why don't we get him something? And so my mom and dad got out, and they got me a program called Animation Master. It was like this cheap 3D program, but yeah, you remember that. Yeah. So they're just like, here, play with this. Just please do not join the Navy. Just please play with this. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But I plugged it in, I played with it, and that love for animation just kicked right back in. I was just creating animations again, and then that was like, that's what I want to do. I decided I'm going to be a character animator. So I was looking around like schools and everything. Before I went to Ball State University, I went to Purdue University. Actually, the Purdue University in South Bend, their sister school, because, well, I didn't have the grades to get into like the main campus.
Yeah.
So when I got into there, they didn't have 3D animation, but they laid out a program. They're like, well, look, we do computer graphics technology. That was their program. and you don't do animation there. You have to do like web design and all this other like graphic design stuff for 2 years there, and then you can transfer over to the main campus. So I was like, okay, fine. Then I found out my friends were going to Ball State University, and I was chatting with them. I went over to their campus, and they're like, why don't you just come and, you know, transfer over there? And I'm like, well, I don't know if they have an animation program there, but sure enough, they did. And I signed up, you know, applied, and I got in, and they all dropped out for all different reasons and everything. But yeah, so as I moved there, all my friends dropped out.
So let's talk about your entrance into the program. Did they have any kind of portfolio review? Did they want to see if you had skills, or were they just looking to fill a spot?
Well, what they have over there, I didn't draw a lot when I was, you know, growing up. It was just all stick figures, but I was just mostly like, you know, I want to be a 3D animator. You know, it's all computers and everything. So when I got into there, they're like, well, you don't have a portfolio, but you can take the pre-art program and you take your foundations courses, and then we have a portfolio review for, you know, after you take drawing 1 and 2 and foundations 1 and 2. And I'm just like, I gotta draw now? I just want to animate on the computer. That's all I want to do. But I went with it. I was just like, okay, I'll do it. And when you're, when you are like not that into drawing, and now you have to like draw in order to like get into this program, it's kind of like, well, we see you can't swim, so let's just throw you right into the ocean, and that's what they did. So,
you can't swim, you better float.
Yeah.
Yep. So
figure it out. How long is that program? The pre-art program.
The pre-art program is just only for like 2 semesters, so like just 1 year.
1 year.
So I got in, thankfully, and then you don't take I didn't take animation until sophomore year in the spring. So how we had it there was it was kind of different because the program was very new. I got into the art program in 2006, and the animation program didn't start until 2005. So they were very new. Well, they didn't have the proper funding. They had plastic picnic tables with hand-me-down Apple computers. So trying to learn on that, yeah. And we didn't have a very good teacher at first, and then after she left, then we got a legit animation professor who worked on Barnyard, who animated on music videos and everything. So we were kind of already like halfway into the program, and then so he was just like, all right, everybody throw your animation stuff up on the projector. I want to see what you guys are doing. So we did, and afterwards he's just like, okay, we're gonna take you back to the basics, and just model out this wine stopper, and then we'll just go from there. So yeah. We were all terrible. We were all terrible, but he got us through it, you know. And you know, I was learning modeling, texturing, lighting, the stuff I didn't really want to do. And then I got into character animation and started really loving that, and just, you know, not really excel, but I like pushed myself into doing, you know, all those assignments and everything. And then after I graduated,
hang on real quick. Do you think that that being able to draw would have helped you become a more successful animator?
Yes, I agree. I would definitely agree. I wish I did draw a lot more when I was younger, because my opinions of it have changed a lot since as I was growing up. At first I was like, you don't need to learn how to draw, you know, it's just as long as you got good ideas. Then it went to, well, you don't have to, but it helps. And now, since, I've been taking drawing classes here in California, I'm like, yeah, it's essential. Even if it's on
what do you think it is about drawing that makes it helpful?
I think for one thing, it helps you get your ideas faster on paper, just thinking it out. But I think it also helps you like very creatively about, storytelling poses and learning how to, think it. Man, it's kind of hard to say, but it's just, I don't know. It just helps, It just really
does. Does it
does.
help you break down shapes and to actually know how a shape would move? Or
Yeah.
how a shape moves in space?
I think, yeah, it does, because I remember when I was taking drawing classes here, like I'll say when I was taking drawing classes at Ball State, there was no teaching of that. It was more about like draw what you see. There was really no instruction with it. So that's why after I graduated from Ball State, I was just like, oh, I'm not going to draw again because it made me feel horrible. But then when I was taking drawing classes here again, my first teacher was Jack Bosson, and he taught me about like when you draw the figure, it's about you first have to see the shapes and everything, and then that's when it all clicked in. I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. So then it made me learn how to draw poses in 3D space and everything. And I think that's what helped a lot, and it helped me focus on weight and line of action and all this stuff. So I think that's why it helps to draw when you animate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's something kind of fundamentally different about, even though the principles of animation are the same between 3D and 2D. I think there's something kind of fundamentally different about the way they work. You're really moving body parts around. You're moving an object around, and it's much more positional based. And drawing is very much about a silhouette, and it's about a form. You're actively kind of and loosely doing the entire character at once, and it's just kind of a different way of thinking. And I think it helps. I don't think it's essential. I know plenty of 3D animators that are brilliant animators, aren't great, but I do think the ones that are substantially better. And I think it just helps kind of loosen up the mind and view it kind of from a different way than purely mathematical 3D kind of positional-based animation.
So you think it helps then, Jack? Then most definitely, or did you always have the same opinion too?
I think it does, and I even remember, in school and watching people who weren't animators, but taking drawing classes, taking life drawing figure. It just kind of helps you think about form and actual 3D volumetric structures in a different way. It kind of helps you. It helps you visualize them in your head, and it almost allows you. I mean, some of the tasks like a drawing teacher might have you do is draw the subject in front of you, but from a view in which you cannot see, like from above or from below, and you have to sort of train your brain to start thinking about things in that way. And I think that helps. That helps a lot when you can get your brain to the point that you can visualize form, just kind of on the spot. And then that translates into the 3D world, kind of just when you're planning out a scene in your head, or you're placing out stuff in 3D space.
So it's actually more of a training your brain how to break things down into shapes and volume and how it.
Yeah, because kind of the principle of drawing anything is you're breaking down something that's a 3D volumetric thing in front of you into a flat 2D simplified form. I mean, I guess its closest relative would be, like photography, but photography is cheating. It's doing it for you, right? Because you can trace over a photo, and you effectively are doing the same thing, but you're training your brain to break down that 3D volumetric thing with depth and color and space and volume and turn it into its most simplified form. I mean, you can obviously add detail and whatever, but breaking it down into that, removing a dimension, I think is a task in and of itself. And that's an important task, I think, to teach your brain and it helps when then translating back into the 3D world.
So then, Jordan, you went from Ball State, you graduated, and
Yep.
then what
I
did
graduated.
you do? What did you do right after graduation?
Right after graduation, I was asking my animation professor just advice, like, what should I do, because that's a very scary thing, like, to like a lot of students, like, after they graduate, it's like, well, what now, I know it's like you have to still keep working on your stuff. That's a given. I mean, the worst thing any student can do after they graduate is just go, well, I'm done. I don't need to learn anything else, and then just not work on anything. But I asked him, like, I'm wanting to do, I want to get into this studio, or like I want to get in, what do I do? And he just said, first, you should just go and move out to LA, and then just, start applying and everything. So I know that was a risky thing, but I did it. So
That's awesome.
At what point did
I
your
waited
teacher
until,
say? At what point did your teacher say, "Oh shit, he actually did it"?
Well, I think he wasn't really that afraid of me just going out there. I think he just kind of believed in me.
Yeah.
It's good because you're in Indiana also, so like that was the big notion anyway. Well, at least for me and a lot of other friends, to get out, to leave, So it's a lot of people,
Yes.
a lot of teachers.
Well, that's just because everyone wants to leave Indiana in the first place.
Yeah, that could be true, but
Yeah,
it's a powerful
Indiana
notion.
is pretty much, yeah.
A lot of people don't though, so a lot of instructors always just like, hey, go, leave,
Yes, you escape the black hole.
So then you loaded up the truck and you moved to Beverly.
Yes.
Hills, that is.
You had swimming pools and movie stars. So your little hillbilly ass packed up, and then you moved to LA. Did you have anything lined up at all, or did you just say, "Screw it, I'm going for it"?
Friends, family, anything? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have no family here. I did not know anybody here except for like a couple of people from like, TCOM department, which is like their film department. I've only known like a couple of friends, but I just, I waited for my girlfriend to graduate a semester later, and then I just said, like, we're going, So packed up the car, found an apartment, and just settled right in. And then once I got settled right in, I just started just applying just like crazy, just carpet bomb every studio.
Did you have a demo reel? Did you have a demo reel, a tape, a DVD? What was that like? What were you armed with?
I was armed with just like all my resume and my demo reel was just all online. So all I did was just set my website and my resume to everywhere. The only place I ever sent like a physical copy was DreamWorks and Sony ImageWorks. Those were the only two, because back then that was the only way you can get your stuff in. They're like, we don't watch, or we don't look at websites, but now they do. So that's what I did. And then 3 months later, I got a call back from Way Forward Technologies. They're a video game company that make Shantae, and they make like Nintendo DS games and other mobile stuff. And I was there for like 2 months, and then after I was let go, then it was kind of like, okay, I didn't have anything else to like show to any of the studios, because I was only there for like 2 months. And then I was just like, okay, that was the decision. I was thinking, should I go to Animation Mentor? What should I do? Should I go back and relearn some things? But I went to CTN. And then when I went to CTN Animation Expo, I then was seeing the standard of what good animation was, because I saw a lot of people's artwork and their animation. I was like, okay, I should go to Animation Mentor. I should relearn all the stuff that I thought I learned at Ball State University and just see what I missed, and that's what I did. So
before we go too deep into Animation Mentor, Jack and I have been kicking around the idea of going to CTN. What's your opinion about CTN?
CTN, I actually really love it. I mean, it's much smaller than all these other conventions, but I think it's worth it because they focus more on like the career, not just the art side. Like like there are people there who or like vendors who are selling their artwork and everything, but it's also really good because you get to see all the studios there. You get to meet all the recruiters and the artists there, and Eric Goldberg always goes there, and Andreas Deja, so you get to see their talk and everything. I never got to see Eric Goldberg because it's always a huge crowd, so I never got to see him. But I say it's worth it, So if you ever have a chance, like, I would seriously go.
Are you going to go this year?
I think I might. I mean, I bought a ticket, but since I'm still employed at Method, it all depends if I have to work on the weekends or not.
Okay.
Our other guest, Danny Williams, really speaks highly of CTN, and
just lately CTN. Lately, CTN just keeps coming up in the conversation, and people there's so much positive feedback when it comes to CTN.
There's some really good streams and stuff last year of it and stuff like that, which really was interesting. So that one and a couple other ones, I think I might do some smaller ones next year. Yeah.
Cool. So you go to CTN, you take a look, and you see the standard that's out there, and you decide,
yes,
let's do this Animation Mentor thing.
Yeah. I saw their booth, and I was just asking questions about their, and they told me all the information that, I needed to hear. So went back home, signed up for Animation Mentor, and then before the class even started, I actually got hired back at Wait For Technologies. And yeah, I know, it was a huge surprise because I thought I'd never get hired back there, but I guess they wanted me back, so I was like, okay. So I decided, like, well, I think I should do, I think it'll be all right for me to work and do Animation Mentor.
Yeah, did that present a new problem then? Because now you have...
Yes, it did. Well, when I was working, when I was working, I was, like, I have to do, 8 hours at home, or 8 hours at work, I mean, and then it's like I'm so exhausted now. I'm doing, I'm trying to do all these assignments at home. So then I did the second risky thing. I quit at Way Forward. So
nice.
Well, because I wanted to focus full time on Animation Mentor. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I should do, if I'm going to take this seriously, I must face it head on, get back into just, what Bruce Lee said, empty the cup, and then just, just get everything else in. Yeah.
So how did you balance money at that time?
Well, I was, doing odd jobs. I was just doing like freelance stuff, so I wasn't really working a lot, but I had to make ends meet. So that's what I did. It was just like, part-time stuff, but also part-time and, Animation Mentor.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So what was the difference between getting ready to go into animation at Ball State and getting ready to go into the program at Animation Mentor?
Well, at Ball State, there wasn't really much preparation per se. I mean, they tried their best, but there wasn't much preparation and trying to get a job afterwards. It was it was more like you learn the the art of animation and everything. At Animation Mentor, they actually have career services. You actually are talking to industry professionals who are still working there, and they tell you all the advice that you need. Like after you graduate, they tell you like, okay, this is how you make your resume. This is how you make your cover letter. This is when you get into the job. This is what you should do. Here's what you should not say. And then, all this stuff. So I think they really, Animation Mentor prepares you for a lot, before you graduate. So that's why I really, yeah.
Would you say it's more than just classes? It's more like classes with a coach attached to it?
Yeah, you can say it like that. I mean, it's pretty much the name Animation Mentor. You have mentorship with every class.
Huh. Do they push drawing at all, or is it just strictly 3D?
It's just strictly 3D. But I had one teacher who said that my foundation's teacher, I can't remember his name, but he did push people to go and do life drawing, and that's when I was like, oh, okay, I should go and do some life drawing.
Cool. So then, how long did it take you to go from beginning to end at Animation Mentor?
How long? I took this program doesn't exist at Animation Mentor anymore, but they had the the collaborative classes. So I was going to go and take their 18-month course, but they had this new course where you can make a short film with your students and with your classmates. So that took then 21 months total. So I did that, and then but it was still like a great experience and everything.
Did you going for that longer period of time? Do you think that you got way more out of it than someone that maybe just went for the 18 months?
Yeah, I think it actually did help because we had to also do modeling, texturing, and rigging and everything, but it was actually really cool to bounce ideas off of each other because we had to come up with a story from scratch. So we're all we're almost kind of like we were writers, sitting around at a table, just firing off ideas at each other and and seeing all our scenes together. So I think that really helped a lot.
Was there a really big discrepancy in the curriculum between Ball State Animation and Animation Mentor?
Yeah. At Ball State, well, yeah, I don't want to delve too much into it, but yeah, it was Ball State University. I will say, how do I say this without bashing?
Animation Mentor has people that are still in the industry, whereas Ball State might have people that have worked in the industry at one point or another.
But that wouldn't make it any better, because animation, if there was a good animator at Ball State, if he was a good animator, then he could teach those concepts. He made them all start from scratch and give them some type of foundation, though. Right?
Yeah, right, but
was it outdated or something?
Yeah, here's the thing. At Ball State University, the animation program was fused with the fine art program. So you had fine art people working with animation people, and we had some teachers who looked down on the animation students. And yeah, so when I was not a great drawer back then, I mean, this kind of hurt, but I had a drawing 2 professor tell me that I would never make it as an artist. Yeah.
Okay.
But
well, there you
Yeah,
go.
that high fine art.
yeah.
And what is
Oh,
that guy
yeah.
doing now?
He's tenure
That's
at
right.
Ball State, so he doesn't have to do it.
He's still at
Well, he's
Ball
retired, so he
State.
doesn't
Tired.
work there anymore.
Oh, call him in. Call him in. We got him on the line. Waiting to.
Yeah.
Jack pulls up like a phone line. Here,
Long time listener,
Yeah.
first time caller.
But yeah, I would say that there's some like major differences between that, and it's mostly from the curriculum standpoint on like what they teach at Ball State is more like a fine art way, whereas Animation Mentor it's all applicable.
It's all straight to the point, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
So Ball State is probably looking to make you a more well-rounded artist, whereas Animation Mentor is getting you prepared for the workforce.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes
But
sense.
I will say, Ball State is actually getting better. I looked at their curriculum now because I was bored at one time, and they actually have hired, 2 new animators to teach. They hired a 2D animator who used to work at Disney, and then they hired another one, and now they're just revamping their curriculum. So they're actually getting there. But but when I was going there, it was
because you were the guinea pig.
It was still new. And if it makes you feel any better, when I was going to school for animation, it was kind of the same approach, and I was actually going to a school that was touting itself more of the Animation Mentor kind, I don't want to. I listen back to the podcast and I'm like, dude, you are just so negative, Nancy, when it comes to these schools. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, like I need to all of them, and I think it's just because I'm disappointed in the ratio between how much schooling costs and what kids are actually learning and what they end up with. I don't agree with the big deficit of promising young talent has to go through just to get somewhere in life. I don't like that, and that's the part that I don't like.
I understand.
But when I was going through school, we were learning alongside the teachers. And there was some teachers that were like, well, yeah, let's see what we do. And then there was other teachers that were trying to play it off. And then, when you get closer to graduation and you're starting, I was working in a video game company before I graduated. So I was probably walking around with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Especially when I saw that there was a teacher and his whole class curriculum was doing tutorials all day long for the entire semester. And I'm like, we're spending way too much money to do tutorials that we could do on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's always been my complaint. It's always been the hit that kids have to take and the quality of education that they are or that they may or may not be getting.
Yeah.
And then
not everyone's smart enough back then to align their classes, so to speak, so that you're only trying to take it from people that are at least working during the day or whatever. And even at our school that we were at, we had very few, but I would make sure that all my classes would be just with them, or risk the whole getting questions from the actual teachers during the class. So I wouldn't do that. But, hey, come up here, Charlie. Do you know what's that button again?
But just like everything, everything is all of the curriculum, and no matter where you go, is going to get better because everyone is constantly learning. Everyone is getting better. The technology itself is getting better. So it's inevitable that everything will get better.
Yes.
The big thing is you just have to start something and then continue to grow and continue to work on that. Especially with all of us here, we have to continue to draw. That's why Inktober exists. We have to continue to work on our skills. And that's just because that's the nature of the beast. If you want to be good, if you want to excel in this arena, you have to continue to work.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
With that being said, what are some of the things that you do, Jordan, to keep your skills sharp?
So what I've been doing, I've been drawing every day, so I got that. But I also have been just been doing just short animation tests on my own at home. So whenever I have some downtime, mostly on the weekends, I'll go ahead and do that. Usually like 2 or 3 hours, every weekend.
What software do you use to do all your animation?
I do everything on Maya.
Very cool.
And that's it.
Do you ever do? I know Animation Mentor is kind of sponsoring this, but have you ever done the 11-second club?
I used to do it a lot when I was at Ball State University. So my professor would say you go ahead and do the 11-second club. That was our assignment. So every month that when we do like a lip sync or something like that, that was our assignment to do that. So I used to do it a lot. Nowadays I don't really, because I've done it so much. I'm like, well, I want to animate other sound clips. So I've went and searched out my own. So that's what I've been doing.
Jack and Charlie, have you guys ever thought of doing 11-second club?
I did it way back in the day in school. I've done it back in school.
Did you do 2D or 3D?
I did it 3D. So I did it 3D with the 11-second club with the clip. Yeah, that's what I used to do. I've never done it 2D. I used to always admire the 2D one. The 2D entries are always cool. It's kind of like, to me, they're like David and Goliath, but 2D was always awesome because sometimes at the end of the month, a 2D one be going against a 3D one. They both be really good, but that 2D one just edge it out because they just drew all of it. They just win by default to me. Especially if it was really good, like if it was a Robert De Niro like soundtrack or something like that. It's like a crazy like cartoon character, but it just sounds funny. It's cool. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I did it once when it was still the 10-second club, I think, at the time.
Yeah,
Looks like they've changed it. Yeah, they've changed it to 11 seconds. I don't know when that happened.
They're like 10 seconons just isn't enough time.
Yeah.
we lose way too much content.
These kids are getting lazy.
Well, what happened was it was 10 seconds for a long time, and then there was I think there was a female animator that was going to Animation Mentor, and the site kind of went down, right? And like she restarted it, and made it the 11-second club, and then like Animation Mentor liked what she was doing also. And it might have been a group of people, but I remember a female animator, a girl in particular, and then Animation Mentor got behind it too, and kind of revived the whole website again too.
That's cool. That's a neat story. I'm glad places like that still are around because it's just, again, I'm a huge fan of like the Inktober's and the March of Robots and the 11-second club and stuff. Just little things that keep you creating, because it's real easy to stagnate, to just pencils, I guess.
I was talking to another artist the other night. Sorry, Jack. I was talking to another artist the other night, and we talked just about the whole stagnating thing, and it's like really easy to do, especially when you're working and stuff like that, or like if the type of work you're doing at work, like he's a modeler in VFX, but like a lot of stuff he's been doing was like scans, and he had another artist who used to work at Blur talk to him and say, "Yo, hey, when's the last time you sculpted a head from scratch?" He was like, he stopped. He's like, "Oh, you're right. It's been a while, because you see the scans, whatever, just because." And he was working on one of the TV shows and stuff like that, where and he's a phenomenal modeler, phenomenal like ZBrush artist, phenomenal just character modeler, in Max and stuff like that for what he do. But like he was like, yeah. So I just had to start getting back to it and stuff like that. So I've been really pushing to get back to it. So he set himself goals, but he lost focus for a little bit, for like 6 months to a year, because at work, he's retopping these scans, he's doing other stuff. He's still modeling and still having to do ZBrush stuff, but sometimes just the act of doing it from scratch, you lose sight of that sometimes, right? I'm sure you know about that, Jack, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar conversation. Yeah, I had a similar conversation. It was like, when's the last time you keyframed something and didn't start with like a bunch of mocap? It's like, in visual effects, it's like you just don't really do that much anymore, unless it's like a creature or like a machine. But it's like you get lazy because it's like, as great, and I'm all for mocap. It's a great time saver. It helps make a lot of stuff look better, but you skip right past the timing phase and the blocking phase and all that stuff, and you just kind of go right into tweaking the final results. And I think it's good to kind of keep your early foundation skills brushed up.
Yeah, I get scared of that even now with my job now, because like a lot of times we'll use high poly assets and stuff like that, because the turnaround time is like literally a week. Yeah. And they want my skills. It's like, hey, I need you to render this. It needs to look realistic, but go here. You get this. It needs to be this model exactly, because if we show it to like Ferrari and it's not that model and it's not right, we're not gonna get the job, And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself the last couple weeks, I gotta make lists at home. I'm not gonna be modeling. It's like freaking me out, because we've had these conversations all the time, but now it's real to me. Because even at a game studio, when I was at a game studio, I'm still making a bunch of stuff by hand. I still have to like do everything by hand. Like I'm the owner of that whole level, And like here, I'm the owner of the whole thing, but at the same time, it's like there's no way that you can model that much stuff in like a week, in a 2 weeks time. There's no way. So it's like scaring me. Just a little bit of like having to use other stuff. I'm like, I don't want to.
So Josh, after you graduated from Animation Mentor,
it's Jordan.
Jordan.
What did I say?
Josh.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You can call me Josh if you want.
I'm just joshing.
Oh,
there you go.
My apologies.
Balance it back. I gave you a clap.
Slow golf
It was
clap.
like, good job.
Jordan, so after you graduated Animation Mentor, what happened to your life?
What happened to my life? Well, it all changed. No, I'm just.
Got a golden ticket.
Let me guess. You were in LA, so you became homeless.
Oh, almost. Well, no. But yeah. So after that, I went again, just applying everywhere, carpet bombing and everything. So then I went and worked at Hydrogen Whiskey.
That's a cool.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was only for a week, and then afterwards.
Oh, long-term project then.
Yeah. Exactly.
What was the first thing though? What did you have to do there? What did you have to do?
There was a. I wish.
No, it's whiskey.
Whiskey. Yeah.
That's why it's ironical.
Is it?
Hi, welcome to Hydrogen Whiskey. Here's your shot of tequila.
Is ironical a word?
Yeah. Well, we worked on what was it? Was the Walking Dead game. It was episode 2. Yeah. Okay. And I was only they only had like pre-made animation, so I was there to like clean up, to get everything pushed out, because they were at a deadline, so we need, just doing all that cleanup. So it was just only for that 1 week. And then after that, after I got let go, I was I hit up one of my buddies who used to work at Way Forward, and I was just like, hey, how you doing? Do you want to check out my demo reel and everything, see what you think? And he looked at it and he was like, yeah, it looks good. Do you want a job or something like that, man? Is that why you contacted me? And I was just like, yes. And he's like, okay, let me hook you up with one. So
Let me go ahead and push this through. Let's just cut the beat.
Yeah. So we got back at Way Forward, and we were working on what was it? Scooby-Doo and Looney Tunes Cartoon Universe, and I was working also on their mobile game called Till Morning's Light. And the artwork is really good and everything. So
I hear the animation's pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
Love it. Keep going.
Oh, sorry.
This is great.
Oh boy.
So you really had to grind it out then. So like this was like probably like a relatively decent sized company, maybe like what was it, like 50 to 100 people, I assume? Like a third party studio?
It was kind of, almost like it was a small to mid size, like 50, 60 people there,
Okay.
But I mean they're kind of a small company out in Valencia, but they actually do some really good stuff. So, now while I was working there, around the time of September, then that's when Animation Mentor contacted me back and said, "Hey, there's a position opening up at Method Studios. Do you want to, do you want to take the job? Do you want to do something?" I was like, "Yeah, I would like to take the job."
Oh, that's awesome. That's how they say, "Oh, I have this job. You want it?"
Yeah.
Animation Mentor just giving out jobs. Here you go.
Yeah.
You get a job.
Yeah.
You get a job.
Everyone gets a job.
Yeah.
It's like, tell me yes now, or I got 50 other people I'm about to call with this. Just go and take it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So Method.
Yeah. So Method.
So you started at Method.
Yep. And then I did not know I was going to be working on Ant-Man because when I was interviewing there, the animation director was like, "You're gonna probably be working on some credit card spinning or an iPhone popping up or something like that. Would you still be interested in working like that?" I'm like, yeah. I would be like, yeah, still keeping, a happy smile on my face. Like, yeah, I would do anything to work on.
Does a credit card have
spinning
arms?
credit cards. Yeah, exactly. But then the first day I got there, they're like, "Okay, you're gonna be working on Ant-Man. Here's your first thing you got to work on." And I worked on a walk cycle for an ant, and I was like, it didn't really hit me at first, I was just like, wait, this is the movie. This is what I get to work on,
Awesome.
But yeah, it was really cool,
Cool. So like, how did that work? So like, your reel from Animation Mentor, basically, Animation Mentor was sending those things out there, career service department, and then was there a pre-screening first, and then they contacted you after they kind of liked you, and they said, "Okay, cool, we'll get a hold of the former student." Were you already circulating your work to a couple studios, and you knew that while you were working at the game studio, you were just kind of like on your grind, and then they called? Like, let's talk about that process a little bit more. Yeah.
So while I was still working at Animation Mentor, to clarify, when Animation Mentor Career Services contacted me, they said, since there's this job position opening at Method, would you like me to send your demo reel to them directly? And I said, yeah, I'd like to do that. And then once they sent it over there, then I got a contact from the recruiter at Method, and then she was just going over like, when are you available? When, have you done this? Are you eligible to work in the U.S.? So like when it came to the eligibility part, that was a little undefined for me because when I was working at Way Forward, they didn't really have an end date per se, and then once after, like, because there was no date clearly on when the project will be done, but then once the project was done, then they're like, okay, well, I guess we don't really need you anymore, so we're just gonna have to let you go. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I took a bit of a break, so I went to Thanksgiving back at home, and then once I came back, going back to carpet bombing all the studios, I hit up Method with my demo reel, and then 40 minutes later, they're like, would you like an interview? Yeah, and I was like, whoa, yeah, I would like that interview. I was just like,
how do you feel about credit cards?
Yeah, how do you feel about credit cards?
That's why it was weird for you. You hit send, you went and got something in your drink, whatever, went to bath, came back. There's an email from the lady. Yes, we want to bring you in. And you're like, what? Is that quick?
Yeah, exactly what happened.
Yeah. Sweet.
Gmail still says sending. What happened?
So you work with one of the a friend of the show. You work with Lindsay Horton.
Yes, and I saw her podcast, and I thought she was hilarious.
Yes.
Yes, she's nuts. She's baked incorrectly. What's it like as an animator?
What?
As an animator.
Hang on.
She's gonna tweet about you.
Wait.
Okay, so okay. When people are in their mothers, they're being baked, right? She was baked incorrectly. She was born wrong. She's nuts.
I have never heard of this term before.
Yes, she's
gonna blast you on social media.
Which is fine.
Oh,
she
yeah.
knows she's crazy. She knows she's crazy.
You're gonna be in her next stand-up.
Yeah.
Once you go brown, just might as well just stop. Just go back to white. So what's it like being an animator and working with a technical director? What's that relationship?
Yeah, we don't, like, I don't get to see Lindsay Horton or any of the other technical directors as much because we're separated in like different rooms. She's locked in, solitary confinement, as I like to call it, because it's just like, you don't see anybody in that room. But I just saw her a week ago because there was some a rig that there was a problem. But yeah, usually like if there's a problem with the rig, that you usually get into contact and everything.
They come out of their wing.
So what's that like? You have a character that you're about to animate, and your technical director hands you a file with with a bunch of sliders on it. What is it that they're actually giving you?
They're giving us, they're giving us, the asset, with all the, controls on it. We don't really have much about sliders or anything because, like, everything is everything has like all the controls on the face and everything, and then there are some like, if there's like some phonemes, it's like on like on the head control, So yeah, it's not so confusing, but yeah, it's that's how it is.
Mm-hmm. So you've worked for a game company and you worked for a movie company. What are some of the similarities between working for either one of those types of companies?
Similarities, I would say that you still have to push out good work when you're no matter what. But I would say the differences between those two is that the workflow is very different. So like in video games, you don't have time for blocking, so and you have a lot of assets to push out, so you're always in spline mode, and you just have to like push out all these little animations that have to be then put into Unreal and then programmed and everything. So it's really about a lot of animation assets just being pushed out. With video effects, you have more time to do your individual shots and everything, and you have more time to clean up, and more time for blocking. But there's a lot more pressure with the clients sometimes, but you just got to do what you got to do. So that's how I would say like the similarities and the differences of it.
Do you have a preference between the two?
Since I was more trained animation mentor about like going from blocking and then like the stepped then to spline, I really like the visual effects side more, because there's a lot more I would say a lot more creativity that goes along with it.
Did your name actually make it in the credits for Ant-Man?
Yes, it did, and oh boy, man, the feeling that you get when you see your name on the credits, man, like it didn't hit me like when I was working on Ant-Man. Like while I was working, it didn't really hit me that I was making a movie until when I went to the cast and crew screening, and then I saw my name up on there, and I was just like, "Whoa, holy crap!"
Take that,
okay,
teacher,
my name is on.
Stupid Ball State teacher.
Yeah.
And that's when the flashbacks echo over your shoulder. And
yes.
You'll never amount to anything.
Did you take a picture of your ass and send it to him? Like,
no.
Kiss it.
Wow. You take a picture of the screen.
Yeah, take the picture of the screen. I took the
If that's the way you want to handle it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I've seen this notion happen with Animation Mentor. I've had a lot of buddies go through Animation Mentor the exact same way you did. I have another buddy that worked many years in the game industry as an animator, and then in the evening time he was doing the Animation Mentor, even during our crazy crunch, and I never could understand how he could do both, right? But I understand the drive, right? Because you are physically tired at the end of the day. And I've had two other people do the same thing, right? And then one other person that had the luxury of being able to be at home. I'm wondering, when you're at Animation Mentor, was there a lot of other people kind of like you where they were working maybe in-game or at another studio in the evening times, and then during the day, and then working on Animation Mentor at night? Did you see that to be common? Because I feel like everyone I've talked to that did it was doing exactly the same way you did it. Yeah.
It's not as common in Animation Mentor, but I did meet a couple of people who were working at a game studio and doing Animation Mentor, like both full time. So, they would say like, yeah, I just do it late at night, or mostly on the weekends. Like I've heard one guy who said that he will do like an hour just on the weekdays, but then when the weekend hit, he would just lock himself in the door, in his office just on that Saturday, and just he'd be like, nobody bother me, I'm doing animation. So that's what he did, and I think he had a wife and kid as well. So just having that, so having that balance, it's hard, but if you can do it, by all means go ahead. But it's much easier if you were focusing, like if you had a part-time job and you were focusing Animation Mentor full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Animation Mentor has always kind of intrigued me, because when I was on Pirates of the Caribbean 3, I remember there was one of the animators was participating in Animation Mentor as a student, and then there was two other people in the studio who were teaching it. So I always thought that was kind of interesting that you got these folks that, and I thought it was cool just because that there's professional folks that are teaching other professional folks that even though they're in the professional industry and they've quote unquote made it, they're still honing their skills and learning from the folks around them. I always thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For a while there, I thought they were moving into on Animation Mentor. They were moving into like other effects. Like they're going to do like this VFX course. I don't know if you still are like connected to it, Andy Jordan, or anything like that. It looked like they turned it into just kind of like downloadable lectures you can do, and they must have just like went away from it. Have you heard of this too, Jack? Like,
No, I didn't
yeah,
know that they've changed their format.
they had it for a while because I remember getting emails and I thought about maybe doing it because they had a VFX course in it, like where it's like a program they were doing. But now I look on the website and there's only animation again, and the only thing I can find out about VFX is maybe a couple like
A link to YouTube.
$50 like lectures and stuff that they have on there, like one-off.
A link to SBS Learn.
Yeah.
SBS Learn, you say?
With the promotion code SketchZone, all one word.
What is this SBS Learn you're talking about? Educate Jordan.
If you go to svslearn.com and you sign up for the classes and you use the promotion code SketchZone, all one word, all capital letters, you get a wonderful discount.
But SBS Learn is like illustration drawing based. It's mostly children's book illustration design.
It'll get you ready for Inktober.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Should check it out, Jordan. That's awesome.
I will.
Go get your art learn on, kid.
What's that website again?
svslearn.com, promotion code SketchZone, all one word, all capital letters.
I better write that
Speaking
down.
Oh, you gonna write it down, Jack? What is it again, so you can write it down?
Yeah.
Call now at svslearn.com.
And if you act now, you can get a free pencil.
Give me a
So
But
Jordan,
you
before
can
the
get two
show,
SBS Learn.
so Jordan, before the show, you were talking about that today in time is a great time to be an artist.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you say such a thing?
Because anyway, I would say it's a great time to be an artist because, you know, with the internet and all these schools coming out, you know, and social media even, you know, you can post your artwork anywhere. You know, it's kind of like, you know, as a character designer, you also have to be kind of like a graffiti artist, you know, place your artwork in all these social medias and stuff like that, you know, and that's I'm serious, that's how you get your name out there, you know. I've heard that that's how people have gotten like into this industry, is just that they just keep posting their artwork on Twitter and, you know, Vimeo and Tumblr and all these, you know, all these other social media stuff that promotes that art, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 24/7 demo reel.
Yeah.
It's constantly there. So now the good thing is you can put your artwork out there and people can see it. Now the bad thing is if your artwork is crappy, people are out there seeing it.
Like,
Or they're not.
Yeah, but you know what? It's just like, you know, as long as you get your artwork out there, you know, I feel like that's really what matters. You know, you can learn, you know, how to be a better artist on the side, but it's just, you know, just getting your artwork out there. You know, I feel like that's really all that matters. You know, because I was posting all my, you know, animation stuff on Vimeo. You know, even though it wasn't all that good at first, but I still put it out there. You know, I just feel like that's how you get good. You know, not just from learning, but just always keep posting your stuff out there.
And I think it is important that even if your artwork isn't that good in the beginning, as long as you're showing progress and potential,
growth.
Growth.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. There's I think there's a forum on 11 Second Club or CG Society where a guy posted all of his drawings from senior year in high school till after he graduated from college, and you see that progress that he did, and everything. I think it's on 11-Second Club, but it was just like he just kept posting all of his artwork on there, and just while going to school, and he's got a lot of recognition from that.
That's awesome.
So let's talk about the job market for animators and in LA and basically in the States. There's always jobs available, but then there's tons of jobs that are being exported to India and Singapore and whatever. And I read there's an article on slashdot.org where a professor of sociology at University of Virginia talks about how job insecurity is the new normal.
Really?
Yeah, so basically the American worker, it's normal for you to think that you're going to lose your job soon.
That sucks.
Should I get out the sad trombone again?
We might need it, because here we are.
That's such a sucky normal.
Yeah, the article goes on to talk about how, how our parents and our grandparents were able to find a job at whatever company, then they work there for however many years, and then they're able to retire and they have pensions and all this stuff. The new normal is you're out there constantly hustling, trying to find your new gig, and it sounds exactly like what animators do. You're constantly working on your work. You're constantly looking for your next step. When are people gonna just burn out?
A lot of people probably haven't gotten to that point.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I know that's like all bad and everything, but I see a silver lining in it now. That might be the crazy talk coming out, but
don't you make us use the happy trombone. Don't you make us use the happy one.
Well, don't use it. Don't get your finger off of it.
Stop touching it. Pause.
I'm gonna do it.
No, your fingers twitching over that button like, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Say something positive. Do it.
I say.
Yeah, because like make me smile. So what is your flip side to it? Your positive side to it?
The flip side to it is, since you're always looking for that job, it actually puts a fire in your ass, because you're always constantly, updating. Oh yeah, constantly just updating your stuff. Always meeting all the recruiters and everything, and that's why I feel like CTN is the big thing, because I always make an effort on just going every year, because it keeps me current.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So it says it gives you a way of like having that drive, that you had coming out of school,
exactly.
And you don't really ever lose that, and it's probably inspirational too, right? At the same time. It
is actually inspirational. And then, you got to compare it to also, like, the people who had that job security, they get, you kind of sometimes see them as, like, they're a little too comfortable in their job.
Or they're not
sometimes.
doing work, or they're not, working on their skills,
Yeah, and then the time comes when they, are let go. Then it's just kind of like, you let go of the leash, and the dog is just, just running everywhere. Like, what do I do now? So, I know it sucks that there's, job insecurity out there, but I always feel like, hey, it might be a good thing,
If you're good, if you're good, you might not have to worry about it. And kind of like you said, you were working on your demo reel and stuff, and Animation Mentor came to you and said, hey, there's this job, are you interested? Or Method took 40 minutes to get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack, you've seen where you work. You've seen it grow per project. It gets big, and they hire like hundreds of people, and then towards the end, everyone gets let go, and then it's almost like a heartbeat for every project over there. What's it like to see the team build up, and then everyone works together for months and months, and then Jordan just got done saying it depends on if I'm working over the weekend or not. We haven't seen you in about 2 weeks because you've been working so much. What's it like to have the team build up and then everyone let go, and then build up and let go?
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. That's one of my least favorite parts about the industry. I will say that there is a positivity to it. I mean, you clean house every single show. You learn who's good, who to bring back, who not to. But it sucks. I mean, you build a pretty strong bond with these folks because you're working really hard and really long hours, and it can be pretty stressful just with the deadlines and the amount of client pressure and notes and supervisor notes that come in. So in a weird sort of way, it's you build a stress bond with these people in a weird type, kind of like like a war zone. I'm obviously not comparing it to a war zone, but it's that similar type of thing where you're in a stressful situation and you're in your close quarters for a long period of time, and you spend a lot of your life with these people. So you build this kind of like unspoken bond with everybody. So it's
the brothers, right? Like kind of.
Yeah, it very much is, and a lot of these guys have been at every single studio. So it's always been funny to me that there's even this myth that there are different studios, because it really is all the same talent, just recycled. I mean, yeah, there's a core set of artists and supervisors at each studio, but for the most part, the bulk of the workforce is just going through the revolving door. It's like the industry is like a heartbeat. They're just getting pumped to a different part of the industry, and it's interesting. I mean, it keeps it fresh, and it keeps, because it is a technology-based industry and everything's changing show to show, and you got to constantly keep up with what's new. I think that's also reflected in that, because you're constantly bringing in new voices and new ideas and new minds, and well, at this studio they did it that way, and I don't do it this way, and that can be good and that can be bad. It's very strange. It's unusual. It's kind of like since I'm a staff employee, I'm kind of like, I don't want to call myself a teacher, but that's what it feels like. I feel like I'm a teacher at the school, and the students come in and they go out, and the students come in and they go out. It's kind of like that. It's not that I teach them, but I just have that.
So it's teaching pipeline for your studio and how you guys do things there, right? More so?
What's that?
Is that what you mean? Like it's teaching pipeline for your studio and the way you guys do things so everything can run smoothly? Is that what you mean by teacher?
No. I guess I just mean like since I'm part of the staff group, I'm the one that's always there at the for using like school as a metaphor. Like I'm the one that's always there. Yeah, and all the school kids come in and they go out, and they come in and they go. It's that kind of thing. It's an unusual way to run a business, but I think people have gotten used to it, and like Jordan has said, I think it keeps people. It keeps people active. It keeps them constantly learning, and it doesn't allow for very much, because the staff jobs are somewhat few and far between, and so it keeps everybody fresh. Even the older guys that are 50, 55, 60, getting close to retirement, they're still sharp, and they still have powerful skills because they have to, because they're jumping around every 6 months, every year, and you keep that demo reel and you keep those skills honed.
Interesting.
And it's cool too, because I've seen it before where you work at an office where everyone has been working there for 15, 20 years, and then you go to talk to someone that's been there for a while, and then they look over their shoulder and they're still mad that, oh, that bitch over there ate my sandwich 15 years ago. And like everyone is excited that it's bagel day, whereas if you keep it fresh and you build up the team and then you kind of let them go, like no one has time to be pissed off that who drank whose pop and who ate whose peanut butter.
Yeah, that's very true.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I see that some people, like even at my job now, like we have like other guests on the show, like Patrick Coleman and other guys that like love the whole freelancing thing, right? Love the whole like lining up the jobs, or like this week, or taking a week off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This week you might not have to go. So if I don't put that email out there, I won't get sent to a new place. So I'm just gonna take a week off. You know, like I think there's that cool lining too, where some of those artists like being nomads, you know, or like saying, you know, I'm gonna go work for NPC. Let's go to London for a little bit, you know, and then we'll come back, you know. But I don't know if that's a young man's game type deal, and then they start wanting to be in one spot or not. That's probably a little bit of that too. But you know, young man or young woman, I should say.
I think it's the name of the game now, because even if you're full time somewhere, what are they doing? They tell you we're going to put money in a 401k for you. Well, you should be doing that on your own, whether you're freelance or not, whether you're contracting or not. You need to be putting money away. You know, yeah, they might be putting in for your retirement, your government retirement plan, but you can't even really rely on the government these days anymore because they're taking money out of what is it? The government retirement plan. What is it?
I mean, they've been taken out of Social Security for...
Social Security, there you go. They take money out of Social Security. Everyone's been talking about Social Security is going to be running out of money here soon. I mean, they've been saying that for a long time. But you need to watch out for yourself because everyone else is watching out for themselves, including the government, including these 401k people. So you need to be putting money away no matter what.
Yeah.
So let's talk about taking a step away from the office to do some networking and such. We met Jordan, Charlie and I met Jordan at Siggraph this year.
Yeah. It was awesome.
So what was Siggraph like for you, Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan, let's know.
Well, since that was my first time at Siggraph, that was actually That
was my first time too.
So it was actually. Oh, really? Nice. Well, it was actually really exciting. It was nice to see like all the the new things they do, like all the software coming out and everything. Like I saw, I think you guys saw it. There was like 2 guys playing basketball with the mocap suits and everything. All real time.
That was bonkers.
All real time. Yeah, it was all cool. And then I got to look around, like on my lunch time. I just got to look around all the other booths and everything, see what they were doing and everything. It was actually really cool.
So did you have to work the booth the whole time? Were you just there working the booth?
Yeah, I had to be there, not the whole day, just for like 6 hours or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to, be at the booth and be kind of like their artist representative of Method Studios, and I got to look at people's, demo reels and everything in their portfolios, and it was, it was cool.
Yeah. So we saw Jordan in the job fair section of Siggraph. So more than a couple years ago, they started implementing a job fair at Siggraph. It was really nice, and a lot of the major studios have booths there where you can talk to the recruiters and artists. And me and Carlos, among meeting a bunch of other people, we were like, yeah, let's go back to the job fair. Let's see who's back there, and let's kind of stroll through in between me doing classes and Carlos loitering over at the Harmony booth. So we go back there. We go back there, and we make it around to Method, and we remember that Lindsay Horton works at Method, so we're gonna go over there. We're gonna go to talk to a bunch of them, and we kind of struck up conversations because with both of us there, we kind of just bombard whoever's standing there with a lot of questions and talk to them, and just kind of hang out. We weren't really even looking for job per se, but we drop some stuff off, just to see. You never know. But it was cool, and that's how we met Jordan. It was really cool. We probably were one of the craziest two you probably met coming up there, Jordan. We were really animated and happy to be there. We were talking. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? Talk to me." No, we weren't that awkward, but it was cool. Talk about how what you thought about different. Because I'm sure you talked to a lot of students and stuff like that, and a lot of people get real awkward and real crazy and don't really know how to approach the recruiters or stuff. I mean, they're all standing in that line, and they get there, and they're like, hey, just kind of look at this or look at my stuff. I always like to, when I was teaching, back when I was teaching, I always used to tell the students, yo, kind of work on your, communication skills to be able to talk to people like you would talk to your friend if you went to lunch for lunch, be able to talk. So what did you think about that when you had to meet all those different people? Even seasoned artists have that problem.
Yeah. But they kind of reminded me when I was first, going to CTN and just, handing out demo reels. But I will say they're a lot better, this year because when I was interviewing them and seeing their portfolios and everything, they had their tablets and everything. They were prepared.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared when I first went to CTN. I had a book bag of DVDs and paper resumes, just and I didn't have anything to play with. I was just like, could anybody, does anybody have a DVD player that they can, put it in, but nobody wanted to take the time to look at it. It's just like, is it on your phone? I'm like, no. And they're like, well, we're not going to look at it. So I'd say they're much more prepared than what I was. But yeah,
the tablet thing was really
Ball State.
But that was all. That was me.
That too, though. You know that too, the whole tablet thing. And I even went back to my my room. It's like, oh, I had a mini computer tablet that I had. I was like, that's a great idea, just to play it on the tablet.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that idea after CTN. I saw everybody had tablets, and I was like, "Oh, I guess I gotta get one," So, and that's what I did. But people, you get to see some students who are just nervous and everything. They don't know how to approach and everything. So, yeah, I just say just relax, be yourself. Just try to just talk to them like they're a person. And once in a while, you just say, hey,
And practice when you're at home. Have your demo reel on your iPad and practice.
Yes.
You're not. No one's in front of the computer all of the time. So just take a couple minutes and say, hello, my name is blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and then walk up to your mom because your mom loves you and she wants what's best for you. Say, hello, mother. This is my demo reel. Would you be interested in? And the more you practice it, the words become become a habit, and then they become very easy to say. And then eventually it turns into a game, actually.
Yeah, and then do it to your cat, so you know what rejection feels like.
I know.
Straight at you in the eyes and walks away.
gives you the most disgusting stare, like, really, you're applying to my company?
You're not even feline. Goodbye.
Coffee.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point of practicing, talking, communicating with people, and also getting out there. There's so many great communities probably in you guys' local towns that you guys can find, right? Or save up that money, go to the CTNs. If you really want to, go to the Siggraphs and stuff if you can afford that. If not, there's smaller things. Go to Comic Cons. Go to any place where there's artists and you have to talk to people or meet people. And one of the other things we talked about when I first came back from Siggraph, before I realized, and when I was going there, I kind of made a pact back in January that, okay, I'm going to go out, take myself out there, see what's new, and then really network. I have no problem talking with people, but even when I got to LA and didn't know Carlos was going to come out and hang for half the week, or didn't know if I was going to see Jack or anybody, I was literally there by myself. So I still, even now with years of experience, had that feeling of, oh crap, I don't know anybody here at all. So even going to the convention center, it could be very little bit stressful of going around, starting talking to people, trying to strike a conversation with people that you're going to see for a week, so that you have people to talk to or go to lunch to and stuff like that. It's a great exercise if you can do it, even on a smaller scale like CTN. You know, finding a hotel, going there, and then forcing yourself to meet people. Going there with your friends is great, but there's something about going places by yourself or meeting people there, meeting your friends there, having separate things. So you have to have that separation and have to force yourself to like talk to people you don't know.
Yeah, I always go alone because it's great to, yeah, it's always great to see, you know, what you can find yourself, because like, yeah, when you're with a group of friends, you kind of miss all the little things in there. So that's why I always like to go alone.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, you got to step over your friends when you're trying to apply to jobs.
No, you just don't
Get
wake
out of
them
my
up.
way!
No, Jack, you just don't wake them up in the morning if you're at the hotel. You just go first.
When they get up, you bust them in the head with your iPad. Knock them out.
Be like, is it time to get up? No, man, sleep for another half an hour. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Yeah. So see what you do first while they're sleeping. You grab the pillow and then you go. No, don't do that. Don't do that. No suffocating people.
No. You will never apply it, man.
So besides CTN and Siggraph, what are some of the other events you'd like to attend?
I always wanted to go to Comic-Con. I'm like one of the only people that just never have gone to Comic-Con. I always wanted to go, but you know,
the San Diego one?
I just never. Yeah, the San Diego one. I just never had the time to do that, you know. But other places I would like to go to WonderCon.
What's WonderCon?
WonderCon, it's like a smaller Comic-Con convention kind of like thing. I think, okay. But they're like held in Anaheim. But,
yeah.
Siggraph's in Anaheim next year.
Oh, sir.
So at the convention center.
I think they get the family discount. If you do WonderCon and Siggraph, everyone gets like $50 off.
Nice.
Only if you use the code word sketch zone. No, I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. I led you guys down the wrong. That's not true. That's not true. I was just trying to see if you guys are paying attention. You guys are like, oh, that's really cool. You know what? Zone, all one word, all capital letters.
Yelling at the WonderCon. They said there's a code. I heard it on the podcast. No, I want to go to the ZBrush Summit. I think I really want to do that. That's top 3 places I want to go to now. Like I didn't go last year, but I set all last year online and watched it. And then this year I wasn't able to watch it as much, but I can't wait for all the videos to come out of it. I think literally I want to do that next year, because that seems like just a good time, you know. It's like 3 days. It's a little shorter. It's a little like it's a lot more intimate, because I'm seeing all these pictures and stuff people are posting. You know, I think I want to do that. It's probably kind of like a CTN feel, you know, which is will probably be really cool, just for like on the modeling side of things and stuff.
Yeah, I was watching them online. I was watching the ZBrush Sculpt Off. That was really cool. Like out of the 6 hard surface modelers, 3 of those 6 have either been on the show or about to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool.
Zone makes it happen.
Just saying. Jordan Miller, get ready, buddy, because you've been on the show now. You go ahead and get the big bank account.
So when you apply for a job, it's sketch zone, capital letters, all one word, put it on the resume.
Oh, yeah. You know it.
It's a promotional code we're applying with jobs. Sketch.zone podcast. Put it in.
So if you apply for that job and you use the code word sketch zone, all one word, all capital letters, you will get a 10% pay increase.
Oh, I wish.
He goes back.
They said I would get a 10%. What?
Who said?
Yelling at HR tomorrow.
They're like,
increase was on the show. Send it up.
Yeah.
And you're fired.
They'll send us an email to let you know. Oh, hey, Jordan. They said you're fired. Sketch. That's Sketch
randomly
Zone.
calls your phone.
That's Sketch Zone. All one word, all capital letters.
Just don't go back to your desk after lunch. You're done. Now that you've left the building, I can tell you can't come back in.
So with that, kids, does anyone have any more questions for Jordan? Jordan, do you have any questions for us?
I don't really have any other questions. I mean, I just wanted to say, it was a great time hanging out with you guys. Just being on this podcast, being on my first ever podcast. It's a blast, man.
Thank you for not freaking out too badly, because I know we came at you at that booth. We're like, hey, we got this podcast thing.
It took a minute.
We're gonna put you on the schedule right now.
Did you guys bring the black bag and scare him?
It took a good 15 minutes.
I will say I was freaking out on the inside, but on the outside I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds good. But I'm like in the inside, holy crap, man.
I gotta talk to people. I'm gonna get interviewed.
People are gonna see me.
That's it. Now you're family. That's it. You've been G'd in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've been G'd in. But if people are looking for you and your work online, where can they find you?
They can find my work at www.animatorjordan. No.
All one word. All word.
Let me start. Where's that trumpet?
Awesome.
Let's just.
Are you sure, Jordan? Try again. You can do it.
Yeah. Let's try this again. It's www.animatorjordan.com, and you can go there. And I have a link to my Vimeo page. Yes, all one word.
There can only be one animator, Jordan.
That's right. That's right.
And Charlie B. Williams, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
So if you're looking for me, you can find me at www.cargocollective.com/Charlie B. Williams. My Pinterest page is my Facebook page is facebook.com/CharlieBW3, Twitter CBW3, Instagram CharlieBW3.
Hang on, I gonged over you on your Pinterest. You can say it again.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you asked about that, Jack. My Pinterest.com page is Pinterest.com/CharlieBW3. A lot of cool stuff.
Wait. What's the Pinterest address? It changed?
Charlie BW3. Oh, that's always been the same one. Yeah. You talking about the Facebook address.
That was he changed it from Mr. Pinterest.
Facebook gave me my
Facebook.com/Charlie B. Williams.
Charlie BW3.
Charlie BW. Yeah. All capital letter, all one word, all capital letters. And Jack Kasperzak, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
I am at sketchbookjack.com and on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, sketchbookjack. And I will be doing Inktober, and I'm going to try and do Bottober.
Ooh.
If I can handle both.
At the same time?
Okay, so Bottober, the Costa is not trying to do Bottober, he's trying to do March of Robots.
Yeah, okay. I'll wait till March.
There you go. I'm just trying to say.
So I'll be doing.
We don't want you to burn out and miss another 2 weeks.
So the best.
That probably would happen.
So Jack, the best way to find that is it exclusive to your Twitter or Instagram?
No. It's big on Twitter. It's big on Instagram, and I guess folks are doing it on Facebook, but Facebook's hashtags are half-assed. So keep it on. Keep it on Twitter and Instagram. That's where the magic's at.
So go check out Jack's updates. He still got to do one.
But don't go right now because I don't have one yet for tonight.
Well, actually, we're going to be listening to it tomorrow. Jack's like, don't look at my Instagram.
No, you can go check out my old stuff.
And I am Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com or Coconut Justice on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. This has been the Sketch Zone podcast. You can go to sketch.zone and check us out there. While you're there, you can go ahead and submit some artwork. Come hang out with us for a minute or two. If you're on Twitter, you can find us at SketchZone. You can also use the hashtag AskSketchZone, and we'll farm all the questions together, and we'll ask a bunch of questions to the guest at the moment. Twitter, I did the Twitter. Let's do facebook.com/thesketchzone. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/sketchzonepodcast. We're also on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Go ahead and subscribe to us on iTunes so you can get all this goodness every week, every time we release it.
I love the
updated
iTunes.
Automatically.
iTunes is awesome.
So that's it for us, kids. Have a wonderful week.
See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.